What's going on, everybody? It's WebsterStyle, Brian Sapph here with another edition of the NRW Checkpoint. Brian, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. You know, it has been nonstop news lately.
Mm-hmm.
And last week we had the Microsoft sort of business call thing. Hey, the house is not burning, and this is what really happening.
Right.
And there was some rumors that there was supposed to be a Nintendo Direct, but Nintendo pushed their direct because there would have been some announcements of those Microsoft games. Well, we got that
Mm-hmm.
direct today. And mind you, it wasn't just about those Microsoft games because they talked about a ton of games. There's a sequel to Endless Ocean coming out, Endless Ocean 2. They're doing
Okay.
a remake, remaster of Epic Mickey.
Mm.
Um, there are a whole, what is it? Shin Megami Tensei 5 is coming to the Switch. There are a bunch of rare classic games that are coming out on the online service. Blast Core, my all-time favorite, Snake Rattle and Roll, the Battletoads Super Nintendo game, and like two others, which of course, if you bought Rare or buy Rare Replay on the Xbox, you can get all of them plus a whole lot more for $30. But you know, that's a whole nother story. You don't have to pay Nintendo a fee every single month or a year, as far as that's concerned. But they've talked about a ton of games coming to the Switch. I think that now I haven't watched the whole thing. I just looked at the list of games that are coming out,
Okay.
and you know, I am I try not to bash PlayStation,
Yeah.
but you and I
Go
have both talked about their state of plays and their showcases and how they've
ahead.
been very lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's the presentation or the games that they choose to show, but even just what I've seen in this Nintendo Direct, I'm like, dude, I'm excited.
Right.
With the slew of games, like, and everything's real quick and phonetic, and you see it and it's like, oh, that's cool, that looks fun. Like
Mm-hmm.
that, I forget that sort of Souls-like game where you playing like a Herbert Graham trying to get a shell. I forget what this called, but they
Mm-hmm.
showed that again. You know, there's so many just cool looking games that there's a Star Wars Battlefront collection coming out
Okay.
with Battlefront 1 and 2, the original ones from like the Xbox PlayStation 2 era.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're bringing out a lot of cool stuff for the Switch, but with that, as we talked about last week, so Pentiment and Grounded are confirmed for the Switch. Pentiment is actually coming out this week, as of this recording tomorrow.
Okay.
And then Grounded is coming out in April, and Grounded is there like, oh, if you ever wanted to play a game where it was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, that's the game to play. That's pretty much the basic synopsis of it. You're shrunk and you have to survive in your backyard, and it's like 1 to 4 co-op play. Then there's like this humongous sand playground area where you can build stuff and whatnot and interact with
Okay.
others. So yeah, it's pretty cool in that regard. And then as far as again Xbox front, this isn't the Switch from Nintendo Direct, but well, I guess it's a Switch from the Nintendo Direct. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we have Hi-Fi Rush, which is coming to PS5. That's
Which
March
that's what I'm
19th.
waiting on.
Right, you can get all that goodness that I talked about last year.
Right.
And then Sea of Thieves on April 30th on PS5. And I'm surprised because Grounded is on PS5 and PS4. Same for Pentiment. I am surprised to see if Thieves is not also on PS4, considering that launched in that generation on the Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand it not being on Switch, but again, I'm Grounded's on the Switch, so I don't
Right.
that. I'm I'm surprised at that because I thought that that would be, especially if they're looking to increase their player base, then you would definitely drop it on the PS4 just because. But hey,
Mm-hmm.
um, it is what it is. So that's just a bit recap of Nintendo Partner Direct. You guys check it out. There were a ton of games that were announced, and you saw great trailers for some of which come out this week. So we're watching, like we're watching. We're not watching Pentiment, but that's out already. But one game that they announced is coming out this week is Penny's Big Breakaway, and we'll see that because that's got me excited as well. That looked like a really awesome game, but that's coming out this week, and we'll watch the trailer very shortly. But something else was announced today. Uh,
Okay.
We got the expansion of the biggest game of, was it 2022? Elden
Uh,
Ring?
or 2023? It came out last year, didn't it?
No,
Elden Ring?
no, because remember Hogwarts
What?
came out last year. And
Yeah,
that was the
what?
biggest game last year. So I think it was
Oh, I'm
2022.
thinking about Baldur's Gate. Yes, that's
Yes.
2022. Elden Ring is
Yes.
definitely
So
2022.
the announcements or the confirmation of the Shadow of the Erdtree expansion is coming out June 21st.
Okay.
So
Now, see, I've never played Elden Ring. I
same.
hear great things about it. I'm not opposed to just never pulled me in. But
I agree. I want to buy a physical copy and take a picture just because.
just to
And
support.
if you know, but that's like the only reason. I might just buy a box off eBay and just take a picture just because.
Right.
I don't like I don't think I'd ever actually sit and play the game like that, but that's just me. But yeah, I know that's exciting. You know, that was the
Mhm.
biggest game of 2022. And this is one of those times where I don't mind DLC per se,
Mhm.
but I feel as though in our current gaming culture, DLC is used as a way of taking things out of the game and then reselling them back to the player.
Yeah.
Instead of, hey, we have these plans, and depending on how much we make, we're gonna implement those plans, and you'll get like a humongous expansion like a year or two down the line.
Yeah.
And
I th
no,
you
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was gonna say I think a roadmap of some sorts would kind of would yeah, to what you're saying. I
Right.
think it would help or at least take away from that feeling of like, oh, the game wasn't complete and they just gave
Right.
us a half finished game and they're gonna finish it over DLC time. Cause that's kind of what happened with Kingdom Hearts 3.
Hmm.
And it was very apparent when it came to Square because they had to pretty much say that, like, we were not finished with the game and we have a second ending and it's coming out on a DLC. But I'm okay with that if they're gonna own it. Don't try to
Don't
pretend.
release it though.
Yeah,
Wait a
you
minute,
can
was
push
it
it
free
back.
DLC or paid DLC?
It depends, right?
See,
Because
something like that, you should not look. If you didn't finish it, you should not be making the customers pay for that. That's just my
right,
opinion.
I
Like
agree.
something like this,
Hmm.
I have no issues for this being a paid DLC because of how long it's taking to get it out, and it's clearly not, hey, we just didn't finish the game, so now we're gonna finish it and sell it back to you or sell it to you
Right,
again.
right.
Like this is new content, and I don't know for sure. And so spoilers, we're gonna watch the trailer later, and I haven't seen this trailer. Actually, I haven't seen any of the
Me
trailers.
either.
Actually, no, I've seen Penny's Big Breakaway. That's it. But I haven't seen any of the other trailers today. But we'll see what they say in the trailer. Maybe they give some sort of information with regards to length and maybe even price, because I didn't see that when I read the articles about it, that there was
Mhm.
any mention of pricing if there was a price.
Well, I hope it's well, it can't be not too crazy. Hopefully it's not. But
Right.
I don't mind either. I don't mind there being a price tag attached to a DLC. If it's gonna be like, yeah, we're actually adding to the game and it's gonna be more to the story and stuff, I think I'm okay with that. Only time where I would expect it to be free is if the game was free. Like if I'm playing a
Right.
free to play game, I expect the DLC to be free to play because at some point you're gonna make your money elsewhere, and I know
Right.
that battle passes and all that stuff
Right.
available.
Exactly.
But to what you were saying earlier, I think PlayStation, when it comes to their state of plays, I agree with you. Nintendo's is very much very like they making sure to put their best foot forward with all the games, really show you like a trailer or what's like what you should be excited about when it comes to the game. It's very polished and fluid. PlayStation, they showing trailers and then talking in between. Like there's no real cohesiveness there,
Right.
other than the fact that these trailers are all coming out at the same time in a state of play or show. I feel like if they're gonna do that, then they need to every state of play need to have some kind of like so they need to work towards something in their state of plays. Don't just play a bunch of trailers. You put trailers out every day. Like don't just line that up into like some 45-minute block and call it a state of play or whatever, and then
Right.
talk about what hardware you're gonna release at the end. Like lead me up to something. And Nintendo does a good job of doing that.
Yeah,
I
Nintendo
always
does a good
enjoy watching
definitely.
their directs. I
Yes.
didn't. I was working when the today's direct came out.
Yo, I
So
feel
I
you.
didn't get a
Like I
chance
said,
to see
I was
it.
too, and I totally forgot. I just happened to see an article on it, and then I
Oh,
just
okay.
during my lunch, I think I watched a trailer because I was like, "What game is this?" And I just happened to watch. I'm like, "Oh, okay, this
Okay.
looks cool."
Yeah. Right.
So,
But I don't know. I'm gonna check it out though, because one thing about Nintendo, it's crazy. We often have conversation about like exclusivity or whatever.
mhm.
Like I want to say Nintendo got the most exclusive. Like it seemed like almost every Nintendo Switch game that come out is like exclusive to that platform. So I really I really enjoy watching their directs because it's like these games are not going anywhere else. They kind of can't because
You know,
Nintendo and
it's
everything.
interesting, and I think part of it is a perception, and
Mhm.
the Sega, the current PlayStation CEO, Hiroki Totoki. I so love his name; it's so cool. Um, he was the translator. I remember the translator basically quoted him, and he talked about how exclusives are designed to drive people to buy the system. And while I understand that,
I
and
agree
it's
with that.
accurate, there's
Hmm.
something about Nintendo, and I don't know, it's like a different perception there when it comes to exclusivity
Hmm.
because it's the Nintendo, and maybe it's because, again, we talked about before last week, the sort
Hmm.
of pop culture zeitgeist that Nintendo characters have, that
Yes.
they're so synonymous with Nintendo, even if you've never played a video game. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
Sony doesn't have that. And we
Right.
talked about that. You know, Xbox has Master Chief, and maybe dare I say Gears in some sects.
Hmm.
And that's about it. So if something like a Halo or Gears went to another system, then I can understand people really being pissed off because that is something that is very much synonymous with your brand.
Right.
But something like what we just saw with Hi-Fi Rush and them, they are fairly new and not synonymous with the Xbox brand outside of somebody like me or just people who are gamers.
Hmm.
And I say the same thing with a Ghost of Tsushima, or Days Gone. Some
Hmm.
PlayStation exclusives that outside of the general gaming computer nobody's heard of. Now everybody's heard of Last of Us, particularly
Hmm.
because of the TV show now. So that is
Yes.
something that has transcended that just gamer world.
Hmm.
But getting back to the original point, there's something about Nintendo and their exclusives
Hmm.
that maybe it's because of the type of games that they are.
Hmm.
You never care that they're exclusive only to Nintendo because realistically, a lot of those games and those type of games don't show up in other systems anyway. And it's like Nintendo is the only place you could possibly actually play it. And I think
Right.
that is something that um, comes from, at least in recent memory,
Hmm.
comes from the 3DS
Hmm.
because of the 3DS and its architecture, there are only games that you could play on the 3DS. Oh, no, not just that, just
Just
past
in
20 years
general.
almost from
Yeah.
the from the
From the inception of Nintendo,
well,
really.
not just that, the Wii
Hmm.
U, they make a gaming experience that's different than anyone else. So you don't even think about those exclusives running somewhere else because they are so synonymous with the hardware,
Hmm.
from the
And then,
waggle, from the
yes.
the second screen on the Wii U and whatnot. And I think their innovations with the hardware has
Hmm.
made the exclusive so much tied to the hardware and the system that you don't even think about, oh, this is just exclusive to Nintendo because it is perfectly designed to play on these Nintendo systems.
I agree. That's exactly where I was gonna go because it really is the hardware. They
Yeah.
took the time and effort to actually not perfect, but created a lane on its own for their hardware. Because if you notice, Nintendo don't care about being in the conversations about which console got the fastest CPU and
Nah.
all this other shit. Like they don't care about trying to keep up with Sony and PlayStation with that hardware battle. They figured
Mhm.
out that we could just create hardware that people like and sell it that way, and the games will just sell themselves because people like different things. You don't gotta
Yeah,
you won't have to compete. We don't need Grand Theft Auto over here. They got it on PlayStation and
exactly.
Xbox. They can have it over there. We can do Splatoon Town though,
We got
because
Mario.
yeah, because exactly we got Mario on top of that IP that really like transcends like, brands that stick and are recognizable. I really
Right.
that's probably my favorite thing about Nintendo outside of the games and stuff, like their business model. Again, it's the Apple thing because Apple does the same thing. They don't care about the fact that Android had it first. They build hardware that is going to be a perfect melt with their software, and they focus on that. That's why you can do Android on multiply built devices like different companies and things, but only iOS can live on Apple products. It's smart because it's like we're never gonna go anywhere if we just keep on catering to the people that like what we're putting out and stay original and separate. I don't know. I just like stuff like that. It's cool to me.
All right. We'll get on the Apple Android conversation later because I kind of disagree with you on some of those points, but that's
That's
okay.
fine. That's absolutely fine.
But
I
let's
just
talk
look at
about.
it. Oh,
No,
go
I
ahead.
feel what you're saying though. I feel what you're saying. Let's talk about some games. Get to some honorable mentions. Some games come out this week we aren't going to highlight.
Okay.
Warframe is dropping on iOS, and that's been out for a while. Also, we have a you talk about Splatoon. We have a Splatoon 3 expansion coming out this week as well. Then also a game we covered before that apparently got pushed back. Terminator Dark Fate Defiance is finally seeing the light of day after a delay. So those are some honorable mentions. But first up, we have Balatro, and that's on the PS4, 5, Xbox Series S, X1, Switch, and PC. It's from Local Thunk as the developer and PlayStack Limited as the publisher, and it is a strategy game. So Balatro is a poker-inspired roguelike deck builder all about creating powerful synergies and winning big.
Okay.
The poker roguelike Balatro, I want to say Balataro, so I have to slow myself down. Is a hypnotically satisfying deck builder where you play illegal poker hands, discover game
Legal.
changing jokers, and trigger adrenaline pumping outrageous combos.
Man, why they playing with the illegal?
Yeah, why is it legal poker? Like, why is
Right.
it?
This that's not interesting though. That's
Right.
crazy.
Yep.
Games like that, like poker and all of those card games, games that are like real in real life.
Yeah.
It's interesting watching them translate into video games. But that's not interesting.
Yes. Yeah, it is. Next up, we have Swamp 2 on the PS5, Xbox Series
That's the
S,
name
X,
for real.
PlayStation 4. Say it again.
That's really the name, Quamp.
Yeah, but you'll see why it is in a second.
Okay.
Switch and PC is from Graphite Labs as developer, and Atari is the publisher. It's defined as a puzzle platformer. So, an artful reimagining of Pong.
Oh, okay.
Swamp is Pong backwards.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Right. Like I said, you'll get it in a
Yeah.
second.
That's cool
Contr
though.
right, it is. And this is the second one. So, like, it's the first one, but
Right. What's the first one? Okay.
control a Pong ball, arching it to break free in its light struck, excuse me, of its light struck between two paddles. Explore a dangerous minimalistic world armed with simple two-button controls. So
Okay.
yeah, and so far, if I remember correctly, he's looking these up on Steam. Like Balatro and Quamp, these are all like very inexpensive games, $20 and under. I
Okay.
think everything here is nothing on this list, to my understanding. Maybe Sons of the Force, but I'm not sure. Everything on
Hmm.
here is like $49.99 or lower. So
Okay.
nothing's like a $60, $70 game.
Okay. So if you fellas, if you just blew all your money on Valentine's Day, this
Yep.
episode for you. You're gonna
Yep.
have something on here you could play tonight.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. A
Mm.
couple Starbucks to get you a couple of these games.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Last Epoch is on the PC. Uncover the past, reforge the future, ascend into one of 15 mastery classes, and explore dangerous dungeons, hunt epic loot, craft legendary weapons, and wield the power of over 100 transformative tree skills. Last Epoch is being developed by a team of passionate action RPG enthusiasts. Now
So
that is, and
we're
I
talking
missed
about
the who
me.
developed. That's from 11th Hour Games, is the publisher developer, and I did catch the trailer for that doing the research. It looked pretty cool.
Okay.
Definitely looked pretty cool. I think that it's definitely a game that those that are into Baldur's Gate would definitely like to play. It looked pretty cool. Pretty cool.
A nice dungeon crawler.
All right. All right. Next up, we have Penny's Big Breakaway. And that is dropping on pretty much everything. We're talking about PlayStation 5, Xbox Series SX, Switch, and PC. Is from developer Evening Star Studio and publisher Private Division. And I think this game was $29.99 on Switch. So
Okay.
it's relatively inexpensive, and you'll see why I'm hype about that price once you look at the trailer. So ready, set, yo, join Penny and Yo-Yo in a kinetic 3D platformer bursting with innovative gameplay. Uh, excuse me. Showcase your catalog of tricks and chain impressive combos to deliver Penny and Yo-Yo's perfect breakout performance. Take the stage with this vibrant pair in Penny's Big Breakaway.
Oh,
And
okay.
part of the claim to fame, and we'll get a little bit more when we watch the trailer, is some of the developers actually developed Sonic Mania.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I was like, oh, that's already a plus in my book.
Right. So is it okay? We'll watch the
Yeah,
trailer, right?
we're watching. I
Okay.
saw that trailer. I'm like, oh, we gotta watch it. This is Brian's
Okay.
gonna like this.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
next up we have Pocket Card Jockey Ride On. It's on the Switch. The Pocket Card Jockey was so well
The
received on Nintendo
pocket card
DS,
jockey.
has galloped its way onto Nintendo Switch. So again, we're seeing that remake of those DS or 3DS games now, and is more fun than ever. Easy to learn, but filled with surprising depth. You'll put together the best hands you can to help your horses take home the gold. Solitaire in this game is played by clearing away cards one number higher or lower than your current card. While the game's overall concept is the same as before and includes new rules that allow for more strategic play, as well as racing segments reborn in glorious 3D.
Hmm.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for this and I said, they have really run out of stuff to remaster.
Yeah.
To bring from but again, some of these games are humongously popular and they're
Hmm.
so casual, or like a lot of kids bought it for the DS and now they're older, so you have that nostalgia factor as well. They do that to us too, but our stuff is more 8-bit and 16-bit as far as nostalgia factor.
Right. But I like that though, because it's just again showcasing Nintendo's like,
And that depth,
yeah. Because it's interesting that they Nintendo software generationally is not that far apart. So it's like it's nothing for them to reach back to like a GameCube era. So we remastered this game, put it on the Switch for people who like it. It is what it is. I like that they do that because while we don't have services on Nintendo like Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, how you like stream games or have a catalog from the older days.
right?
So we don't have that on the Nintendo side of things. It's good that they're able to just remaster stuff effortlessly and bring it
Yeah.
up to
And I think that's strategic too. You got
yeah, that makes
everything
sense.
on the online side of things, but you have some stuff like they haven't added 3DS stuff. And I think because it's a 3DS, a lot of those things would have to be remastered.
Yeah, that dual
Um,
screen thing.
yeah. So that definitely works in their favor because I don't
Mhm.
think they even have DS games on the online store. If I meant like so the DS and
Yeah,
3DS. So
the
those I
bigger
think that
ones, the bigger titles,
okay.
like if Pikmin has a DS version or something, or a Pokemon or whatever, those are there. But like
Okay.
you right for the most part, they don't really show love to the DS era and the Nintendo eShop.
Right. Next up, we have a game we've talked about before. I know we did the trailer for it as
Yeah,
well as
because
other
why they
demos.
slave? Why they gotta be slaves?
Right, right. Well, we talked about this in our games we're
I
looking
don't
forward
like
to
it.
is one of my picks. So it's Slave Zero X. So you've
Okay.
seen us talk about it before. It's
Hmm.
finally come out on the PS5, Xbox Series SX, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. The Switch version is coming out later. Everything else is coming out today at the time of recording. It's from developer Poppy Works and publisher Ziggurat Interactive.
Oh no.
Slave Zero is a stylish 2.5D character action game set in the biopunk world of Slave Zero, 1999. Run and
What?
slash your way through a dystopian future in this character action game, which will resonate with fans of Devil May Cry, Strider, and Guilty Gear. I was wondering about that. I was wondering if there was a relation to Slave Zero. And the Slave Zero is a game I played on the Dreamcast.
Okay.
Um, it wasn't this 2.5D platformer, but it was a really fun game. I am
Okay.
glad because I don't think when we watched the trailers before it had any kind of mention of that game, but the fact
Hmm.
that it is sort of a continuation of that is really cool. I'm even more excited for it now.
Okay. And I like that they shouting out the Devil May Cry fans. There might be something I'm into. I've played Guilty Gear before as well, so maybe
Hmm.
this is a game for me.
Yep.
Because the slave game coming out on Black History Month, this all makes sense. But
Well, luckily, it's not
I
that kind
guess
of slave
right.
game. Oh,
All
oh,
right.
also another honorable mention,
Mhm.
Ink Illuminati is
What's
finally dropping. Now we talked about it a while ago because it's dropping on Game Pass, but it was a game preview. Now the
mhm.
full release is dropping this week, and that's on everything: PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, Series S, X, Switch, and PC. I'm not sure if it's on Game Pass, so I got to check that out. But
Okay.
yeah, so that's a game that is dropping in full release as of this week that I didn't cover as well. Next up, we have Pacific Drive. Now, this is actually a game that I have seen pop up on my feed um, a couple times over the past 2 weeks or so because it was part of this big game event Steam did.
Hmm.
Uh, so I saw a couple outlets talking about it. So it is an action game. It's from developer Ironwood Studios and publisher Kepler Interactive. Now, in this game, is a first-person driving survival game with your car as your only companion. Navigate a surreal reimagining of the Pacific Northwest and face supernatural dangers as you venture into the Olympic exclusion zone. Excursion each excursion into the wilderness brings unique and strange challenges as you restore and upgrade your car from an abandoned garage that acts as your home base. Gather precious resources and investigate what's been left behind in the zone. Unravel a long forgotten mystery while learning exactly what it takes to survive in this unpredictable, hostile environment.
Okay.
Now, the premise of this is there were these experiments that went wrong,
Hmm.
and they essentially government experiments, and they walled up that whole side of the Pacific Northwest. You find
Damn.
yourself somehow on the side you don't want to be on.
Right.
So now you're dealing with all these strange phenomena that happen, and I'm not sure if there are any creatures involved, but
Hmm.
watching some of the previews that I did, and we are watching the trailer for this one as well because this was just so cool. I haven't
Hmm.
seen the formal trailer. I saw um an IGN where they talked about some of the games that they thought were cool from this Steam festival. But yeah, it looks pretty cool, something different and unique.
Okay. I'm interested.
Right. Next up, we have the aforementioned Pentiment Step, and it's already on Xbox, it's on Game Pass, but it's dropping on PS4, 5, and Switch. Step into a living illustrated world in a time when Europe is at the crossroads of great religious and political change. Walk in the footsteps of Andreas Mahler, an artist, a master artist who finds himself in the middle of murders, scandals, and intrigue in the Bavarian Alps. Now, the game itself, I always thought it was cool looking. This is from a City Entertainment as a developer and publisher, obviously Xbox Game Studios. But again,
Hmm.
it's just one of those games that I never took the time to get into. Like I always I wanted to play it. It looks cool. We talk about things being different, unique, but I just never
Right.
got to it. And I'm glad that I think, games like this, especially the art style. really lends itself well to handhelds. So I'm really hoping to get some good traction on the Switch. I don't necessarily see it being as big on the PlayStation, but I definitely see it being big on the Switch.
Okay. Well, we said we watching the show. Let me see.
No, we're not watching trailers because we watched trailers for this like months ago. Well, actually,
okay.
It was November of 2022 when it originally came out.
Okay, yeah, we saw that already.
Yeah,
you're right.
And last is Sons of the Force on the PC, sent to find a who developed and who's the publisher. Let me get that information. I'm gonna give everybody a due for their hard work.
Definitely.
All right, so this is from developer N-Night Games and publisher New Night. Interesting. Okay, so sent to find a missing billionaire on a remote island, you find yourself in a cannibal infested hellscape. Okay. Craft, build, and struggle to survive alone or with friends in this terrifying new open world survivor horror simulator.
Okay.
I don't know. We ain't doing cannibals, homie.
Yeah, that's one of them. Twitch, maybe watch somebody play.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need to see nobody eating guinea. Never mind. Because I don't want to talk about Hannibal Lecter, but it's just interesting how people do that to other people. That's all I say.
I don't get it.
I've never been that hungry. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, let's jump into the trailers. First up, we have Penny's Big Breakaway.
Okay. Oh, it's like a little party game, but it's a platform.
You can definitely see the Sonic influence, but that's so colorful and bright. Yes.
This is well, cool. I could just tell the people who made this that were a part of making Sonic, they want to keep going with that idea. Like, new character, this is fire. I think that would have been the next evolution for Sonic, would to be to like add more dimension to the boards, because after a while you get used to running from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen.
Right.
Let's make some turns and do some things with the camera angles. That looks really, really good.
Yeah, I like that. That looked really fresh and innovative. And we have a lot of people tried and failed to do platformers over the years, and it seems like a really good one.
Okay, yeah. I'm with that.
Next up, we have Pacific Drive.
I see they locking people up on one side of the country. And this
someone out there? They're from outside? They're a preacher?
So, another preacher, huh? How do you outsiders not understand that Arda didn't build that 300-meter wall out there for fun? We have to find you a way out.
30,000 feet.
100 meters.
I wish I could tell you what I saw.
Right.
I wish I could put it into words. But most of all, I wish I could forget.
Could it be? A remnant?
It can't be. There hasn't been one in decades. When we're all dead and gone, and limb technology but a footnote in the history books, the anomalies will remain. They're the legacy of our work here. And the Olympic Peninsula belongs to them now. Look around. We're stuck here. For good.
The remnants are like us in a way. Those of us who chose to stay behind, we are as discarded and forgotten as they are.
You and the car are inseparable now, so get acquainted.
Something special's going on beneath that hood.
Okay.
Interesting.
Definitely. I think that actually look like it could be a good like movie.
Yeah, and yes. Yeah, that's
I
a
feel
good
like
idea.
I would watch that if it was like a movie or a show.
Yeah. I think a show. I feel like something like that would definitely lend, from what I'm gathering from the trailer and how the story's set up, I feel like you definitely need a series so that way you can kind of incorporate flashbacks
Yes.
into what happened in the process of the event, and then flashing forward and flashing back, especially when, say, the main character runs into something and you see it or run down, or you see the anomaly, and then you flash back to before everything happened to see different events that kind of okay, I see that. I see that definitely.
That'd be a good one.
Yep. All right, last up we have Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree.
See what they talk
Peggy 16.
Because I'm still not out of the question when it comes to Elden Ring. I don't mind. Yeah, the game came out, people ain't really playing it came out and it's an older game, but I'll still play it, spend the money
to shrive clean the hearts of men,
or see if I can get it.
Whoa, what is the world?
There's a whole arm coming out. So
there is nothing more terrifying.
It's for the move? Oh. This look good here.
In that forsaken place, blood must spill. Blood of your fellows. The Erd Tree faithful.
They were never saints. They just happened to be on the losing side of a war.
Mother, wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in one so bereft of light?
I presume you, too, are keen to know just what kind Mikolo is doing here.
That's a good ass trailer. Trailer is great.
Of the grace of gold shall all meet death in the embrace of Vesper's flame.
Come now. Touch the withered arm and travel to the realm of shadow. I will not be far behind. May we meet again.
Okay.
Okay, they answered my question because I was wondering. We're getting to that point. The DLC is only being released on current gen systems, even though the game came out on series on Xbox One, PlayStation. I have a problem with that.
They shouldn't have started it over there if they weren't going to finish
exactly.
it over there.
Exactly. I know it. You released on that platform. Now you're essentially telling those people, hey, we can't give you the DLC.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like that because what Sony did that with the Last Horizon game. Like the DLC was only available for PlayStation 5. I'm like, then you shouldn't have made the game for the PS4. And that's a a quicker turnaround. We talking about what, a year and a half between the original game and this one with Horizon. It was like 6-month turnaround, something like that.
Yeah, because they put out the Forbidden West game, and then that had a expansion or an announcement for an expansion almost immediately.
Yeah. So I understand that developers want to focus on single technology and makes it easier, especially not doing cross generation. But if you have a bunch of gamers that bought it on one system, you should not. And let's be frank with you, a lot. What, the 100 plus 100 plus PlayStation 4s out there, million. You got about 60 Xbox Ones out there, and both of those systems have sold a fraction of their, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series have sold a fraction of their previous generation. More than likely, you sold most of those copies on the previous generation, especially the PlayStation 4. And now you're like, oh, no, screw you. Yeah, I mean, again, I understand the development aspect. I understand it's easier to focus on the newer systems. But when you have a large portion of your games and gamers, your buyers that bought it on previous gen, and clearly a lot of them haven't adopted, I'm not feeling that. But again, I get the business. I get development costs are rising. I get that it's easier for developers to focus on just a narrow set of system requirements, especially not working with. I mean, technically, every console is outdated by the time a developer gets to it.
Exactly.
In like 1 to like 3 years before it even releases. So, but yeah, I get it. Doesn't make me happy about it, but I get it. I understand.
Yeah, I echo the same sentiment. I think I'm probably the only. I feel like they're doing this because they want people to push over to the next generation of consoles. I hope that more games do not follow this cue, because, time's hard right now. Act like y'all see what's going on out here in the world. Don't try to force people to spend more money that they don't have or can't make back as fast as the next person. Just chill on that, make good games, appease your fan base. But at the end of the day, it's a business. And if they plan on making more DLCs, it's kind of, they set a precedent here, because now it's like, we can't skip and just go back to 4 now. So they just keep making it on the PS5 and the latest Xbox Series S and X and move forward. But I agree with you. Brian. What's up?
Since you do have a PS5, are there any games that you can honestly say that are PS5 exclusives that you've played that you would say could not have run on a PlayStation 4?
No, I guess from a because like Hogwarts Legacy, for example, that the PlayStation version of that game had like bugs that they had to address when the game came out. The PlayStation 5 version was fine though. So I guess from that aspect, like the noticeable performance differences, yes, but no, all these games can run. I think I can't think of a game that's like, oh, I could never play this on PlayStation 4. Maybe from a first world problem kind of situation where it's just like, I don't want to hear the fan running at 100 miles an hour like a damn jet engine while I'm playing this game. But other than that, no.
Dude, I'm still running a VCR Xbox One. Okay, talk about fans. Well, I asked that question for you simply because I watch games. that are current gen, since I don't have a current gen system. And I played it at friends' house and whatnot. There is, for the most part, now I know there are advantages from a technical aspect, higher graphic fidelity, put out in 4K and all that. I could care less about those things. But from a gameplay perspective, a lot of the bigger games that have come out in the past 2 years that have been exclusive, maybe Starfield.
Okay.
Just playing through that, and even again, I'm cloud playing it. Maybe because of how big that game is. I don't know. But again, for the most part, there's nothing that has said to me, this is a next gen game. Like this can only run on the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series system, because toward the end of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One life cycle, those games were looking damn good. Look at The Last of Us 2.
Look good.
Look at Gears 5.
They're talking about remaster for what?
Right,
Still
right.
look good.
So to have these games looking that good, and then you come up to the current generation, and the games look good, the games look polished, the games look better. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I'm not sure if there's a big enough graphical leap to say, hey, this is why you need to upgrade. And I think a lot of people are saying it because we're seeing it in sales numbers.
Yeah. I honestly, I think because I agree with it. It's not a big graphical like improvement to even TVs. We still, I mean, for the most part, you either 1080p or you 4K. And I'm pretty sure, I know they got 8K TVs and all this stuff out there. Now, ain't nobody paying for that. We good right where we at with the 1080p and the 4K. And I feel like because the PlayStation 4 Pro can do that, like it's not a huge difference. Like again, the stress the game puts on the machine, on the hardware, that's noticeable. Because I definitely was running into the latter days of my PlayStation 4 hearing this fan kick from the time I cut the console until my after cleaning it out and everything. Like the games became they really pushed the console to its limits as far as some of the PlayStation 4 games. But ultimately, that's pretty much what you get. I don't see a difference in the games other than the fact that their load times are pretty much non-existent at this point, and the graphics are a little bit more fluid and seamless. That's pretty much it. The only difference, I should say, to me.
Right. Quick question for you. You what you brought up just made me think of something. So there are more and more rumblings for a PlayStation 5 Pro to be announced, if not released this holiday season.
What are they gonna do?
Okay, what you said is all I needed right there. My question was, why?
Yeah.
Why do we haven't even tapped potential of the PlayStation 5 yet. Let's be real.
Now Sony got to slow down. They be trying so much to keep up with how they project things to be like, oh, by this time of the cycle, we putting out the Pro and stuff, but like this shit,
you don't need it now.
You don't.
These systems are the Xbox Series X specifically and the PlayStation 5 are so powerful. And like you said, we have not seen their full potential. For you to bring out a Pro system, regardless of who you are. Because I think we got the Pro systems, like year 4 of the last gen cycle?
Somewhere around there. That sounds right.
And real talk. PlayStation 5 was $499?
PlayStation 5? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So PlayStation 5, Xbox Series system, Series X, both $499. A Pro is going to be at least $599, if not $650.
Well, again, what are you adding? I think the only thing that they could sell me on is bigger storage, like the SD.
But that's replaceable. You can replace your storage.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not
What
a
are they?
pro.
What they trying to do?
That's not a pro.
What they trying to do? What are y'all adding
Yeah.
for it to be a pro? And don't tell me, oh, ray tracing 2.0 and new control. I don't care about that. The game, it looked good. I'm satisfied. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't need nothing extra with no kind of pro, nothing. I feel like this game, this console runs fine. It do
I
what it's
agree.
supposed to do. It look good. Again, I could probably use more storage, but also again, I could swap that out. And then why in the hell would you put out a slimmer version of the PlayStation 5 and then turn around and blow it back up to call it a PlayStation Pro? Because that's what they're gonna have to do. If they change anything with the hardware, they're gonna have to make it back regular size. Sony I don't know what's going on with Sony, but they gotta stop eyeballing the money so much and do shit that makes sense.
And I wasn't even gonna go into this, but it seems like things change quickly in the video game realm in general.
Definitely.
So, but it seems like they're grasping for straws because they just lost $10 billion because they sold 4 million less than the PlayStation 5. And the Hiroki Tsuki said that we're approaching the downside of, and we talked about that comment last week, the downside of the cycle. We are 3 years into the cycle. How are we on the downside? How are we on the downside when we're still getting games getting published for both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4? No, neither one of those companies are still producing them. But I think they produced them up until 2021?
What you mean? They still producing now?
No. The consoles aren't still being produced.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's 8 years?
Yeah.
7 years for each of those? I forget. Anyway, you got about 7 to 8 years of production. If that's the case, you're not even halfway through 3 years.
Right.
You're on the downside of year 5 or 6. And that's when you start to see those heavy price cuts. And again,
what's wrong with sitting still, Sony?
Yeah, exactly. Just get some games out there.
That's what I'm saying.
For real.
You talking about, it's news, but the pro is coming and they already talking about 6. Like, bro, just relax. We don't need it that fast. Now, technology could take a big leap in between now and the next release. That happens. Like every now and then, technology have a real big spike, something crazy come out, revolutionize shit, and now we in the future again. But stay where we at. I would like some more games for the PlayStation. I know it's a ton of games on the PlayStation Store I could get, but I would like for y'all to put some more time and effort into putting some of these games out. I like what PlayStation has been doing with Square Enix and getting these Final Fantasy games out and remade. Like, again, build your IP. We can dial back some and be like, okay, we got a solid console out. Let's rummage through the crates a little bit and see if we can sample some of this old stuff. Like it don't gotta be nothing new every time. We just got Hogwarts. Like, you know what? Let's move on because I don't like that either. That we already talking about these next consoles and people are still playing their PlayStation 4s happily too. It's not because again, what's the difference in between the 4 and the 5 other than that one is 5 and the other is 4? And a little graphics and it's a little faster stuff. But if y'all gonna put the same games, all of these, what Apex, Fortnite, NBA 2, all of the big, multiplayer games that people shell money out for throughout the year, they play on both consoles. If we're not gonna take away that, then you wasting your time. You wasting your time trying to move forward. If you're not gonna kill off the people who proceeded, then what we moving forward for?
You bring up a good point. Then we're gonna wrap this up and get to what we're doing this week. But you bring up a good point because I forgot what I was watching the other day where they talked about that. What are you doing as far as next platforms, next hardware platforms? Because you bring up Fortnite, you bring up something like Apex, maybe not so much Apex, but Fortnite, Minecraft. So many games or platforms themselves, and people don't care where you play them just as long as they're accessible.
Right.
And I think Microsoft has embraced that, especially with Game Pass and what they're doing
Definitely.
there, better than anybody. Even Nintendo's still fixed on Nintendo, but again, Nintendo's
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting when you think of it that way, that really the biggest games, even GTA, with GTA Online, it's about where can you play it, not so much what
on everything
system it's on.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting the next couple of years, but to say there's on the downside is crazy to me. And also even to bring out a Pro, like they just raised their price. It was last year they raised the prices of the 5, brought out
Raise
a
the
Slim,
price. Exactly. Put the Slim out.
Slim that's still not a good value when you think about it. Like I think Sony, this is me, if I'm from the outside looking in and I'm looking at just as a consumer and getting the most for my money, what Sony has been doing does not give me any warm fuzzies about being their customer.
I mean, I'm over here looking at it like, okay, I'm glad I got the 5, but it's like I'm waiting for that moment where I'd be like, this is why I got it.
Right.
Dude, I thought, thought we might have had that with Hogwarts Legacy, but they put it on the 4 as well.
Right.
Thought we might have had that with like Horizon and stuff like that, but they put it on the 4 as well. I'm waiting for it to be like this game. Maybe Spider-Man 2, I guess. But even that is not so much because this is a sequel moment from a PlayStation 4 monster. So it's like it was expected. I'm waiting for them to jump out and be like, this game is going to do X, Y, Z. You ain't going to never be able to play this on the 4, only on the 5. You might want to upgrade and get what you're going to get.
Well, I think we got that now only because of the time. I mean, I think that you're going to have that. That's not going to be an issue. It's just the point that it took us as long to get here.
Right.
So,
and I don't want to hear nothing about COVID because y'all still had the thing on sale.
Exactly.
Yeah, yes, it was hard to get. Yeah, yes, we saw the craze, but it was still accessible. So, find another lie, Sony. Just say it's about money and get out the way.
Exactly. So, Brian, what's going on with you this week, man?
Nothing. I've just recently, I want to say like maybe like 2 days ago, I put out an episode on the pod. Beyonce going crazy right now with the country stuff. I was like, this is something that's I want to dissect because Black people with their with our roots in country music and things. I was like, I want to talk about it. So I had a little episode about that, the 2 songs and everything. She put out the commercial from the Super Bowl, which was really good in my opinion. And then I left it at that. More things to come. I'm currently writing out the next installment on the pod. It'll come out when it come out. But until then, you got something fresh that's in your docket over there.
I mean, when you think about the history behind everything, that's a lot as it is to talk about in one podcast. So that's enough.
Yeah. And I ain't even really delve into it like that. I want to fixate more on what Beyonce was doing and how she's kind of like she bringing a lot of eyes to the Black country artist that's been over there doing this already for so long. So
the crazy thing is about it, and I think it's because it's Beyonce. Why certain people have don't know what's out there but mouths about it, about her doing country.
Right.
And yes, it comes off a certain way. I mean, with Darius Rucker's done country for a while now. What's his name? I mean, there's so much of a hip hop influence in country now as it is.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. But people forget that the banjo came from Africa. The basis of country music and bluegrass. People like Charlie Pride and Ray Charles, were pioneers of country and mainstream of country. So I find it amazing that individuals who are such country music fans don't know these things. And again, I'm not, but I know these things.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You know,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
And the fact that, I mean, Beyonce is from Texas.
The girl from Texas.
If Beyonce was from New York, I could understand.
That's what I'm saying.
I could understand like this culture vulture kind of do a country music. Look, Keith Urban is from Australia. Nobody questioned his country street cred.
Right.
Like, I always thought, why is this Australian singing country music? I never understood that. Like, how does that happen? But Beyonce is from Texas.
And has done country music before.
Yeah, and
people try to ignore.
They ignored her, and that they ain't even. I think they said she couldn't be nominated for a country award that time.
And she still showed up to the performance and outsang the Dixie Chicks. We just gotta call it what it is.
They're just the Chicks now, not Dixie Chicks.
That's right. And you know what? Shout out to y'all because I appreciate the respect. I appreciate that. You found out it wasn't what it was supposed to be, and you say, you know what, we can do away with that. It's just a name, it's just a word. We don't have to represent those things. Let's just be the Chicks. I like that.
Right.
Because a lot of these other artists, they're gonna do, I'm standing no business. Well, you stand no racist business. And countries fall behind stuff like that.
Right.
But that's it. I just, talked about the songs and everything a little bit and got out the way. What about you? Like,
let's see. I went to KatsuCon this past weekend, so my footage from that is up on YouTube and WebsterStyle.
What is it? What con?
KatsuCon. It's a big anime convention they have around here.
Oh, okay.
First time going. Man, it was so many damn people.
I bet.
I bet. Look, I could not stay there for too long. It was that many people.
The smells was permeating.
There was some of that. There were definitely some of that as well. So that's up. And then all of my footage from Exotica, New Jersey, 2023 have been mashed up in addition to never before seen B-roll. Right. So that's now up. Well, that will be up by the time this comes out. And that's about a good half hour worth of titillating goodness.
Okay.
But you guys know where you are. You currently nerds rule the world. Make sure you follow us on social media. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the NRW, on Instagram at New Release Wednesday, and of course, you're on YouTube. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe.